Hi everyone, it is Miss Polly. Let me change my little camera view here, guys. How are y'all today? I am doing well. I'm doing well, as you guys know. I put together a little live. I've been trying some new things, and I want us to kind of start doing some more lives. I know we always talk about doing more lives, so trying to get a little bit better at being consistent and working with my schedule and working with everybody else's schedule and getting some good people on here to have some different conversations. As you guys know, if you're new here, like I said, what we talk about is relationships, not only relationships with people. We also talk about relationships with food, our work, everything, because if you have good relationships with anything, you guys will see a great change in your life. And so we want to really work on our relationships in all capacities. So I appreciate you guys for being here. If you do like these videos, please push the like button. It just takes a little bit of moment and it's free. And if you guys also would like to share this video or not only share it, subscribe, I'd be very appreciative. Um, but today won't be extremely long. Hopefully, hopefully it won't be extremely long. I have put the link to come up if you'd like to have a conversation. But first, we're going to set up some things. This kind of segment right here, I like to call it "Poly Me This." The reason why I'm calling it "Poly Me This" is because I want to kind of have some engagement about what's going on. Just in general with life and talk about those kind of relationships, and then we guys can move forth in that. Last slide, we kind of had some good conversation about several different things, but we're going to I want to open up the doors to people having experience with all kinds of things. So, first off, we're gonna go hop right in with relationships because I want you guys to really engage. Right. So the first thing is I want to talk about some local celebrity news. Like you guys like, I know you guys like to talk about celebrity news, so we want to bring that up. Hey, how you doing? What we want to talk about first is if you guys have not seen, okay, we have some two people have got engaged recently. I know a lot of people are like, oh well, I really could care less. Um, but I think it is very interesting because a lot of people thought the relationship would kind of fizzle out, and it didn't. To most people's surprise, Meagan Good, okay, if you guys know who Meagan Good is, she got engaged. Now, the thing is, when she got engaged, sorry, I'm doing multitasking here, but when she got engaged, it was I think they announced it yesterday. I don't know when it was actually done. Hey, but she got engaged to Jonathan Majors, and so that was a really big thing, right? So, hey, Fim, I appreciate it. You can stop by, but yeah, she got engaged. A lot of people thought that relationship would phase out. They were the couple that everyone was waiting for them to break up. It was very interesting. I'm gonna get better. I'll show you guys some clips though. I'm gonna get better at adding the clips. But um, when they announced they were getting engaged, what happened was, good evening, Queen. What happened was they were looking kind of strange. It kind of said it like we all should have known they were engaged. It was kind of weird. But you know, you never know what they're doing in the backside and how they worked out things. But as you can see, she does have a ring, and she looked really happy. So that's congrats to them. I've been a I like Meagan Good. I think she's a very lovely young lady. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, no, it's not that young," but yeah, I mean, this is what we talk about modern relationships, and so I brought that up because a lot of people would say that she might have aged out, and that's why I'm bringing that up. Okay, a lot of men out here. Okay, we're not saying they're wrong or right. A lot of men say that when you get to a certain age, it's not likely you're going to get married or get engaged. Especially even if you don't have children and all this. And as we know, she's been married prior to, and she didn't have any children. But it's as you age, you're not going to have those options. And even if you're a very beautiful person, you're obviously you will still be quote unquote, and not in the same place. So it's very interesting to see uh, her get engaged because a lot of people thought that relationship was going to fall through. And then on top of that, this also kind of sets a standard. I want you guys to think about this, okay? Like talk about the standards here. So, so we all like to talk about Miss Harvey, right? And we see how she kind of moves, and she hasn't necessarily locked it in with anyone, right? And so a lot of people think that she's gonna date, and then age out, and she's not gonna find anyone because at this point she's kind of been quote unquote passed around or whatever. Uh, you know, and so would she look like a Meagan Good? But then you look like Meagan Good, obviously, is still going to get married. Okay. Well, obviously, she's moving that forth. So with the new modern modern women are moving a little bit differently. Men, are they starting to change the way they're viewing those quote unquote traditional ways? And are they moving differently because the women are moving differently? And a lot of men are. They're just saying, hey, like, this is what it is. These women are different. And we're going to have to move different too. So a lot, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. This is just me putting it out there. So a lot of men are saying, oh, well, maybe I should move differently. Okay. I should move a certain way. And when you have those people moving a certain way, then what's going to happen is you're going to see women who have have a baby, you know, multiple relationships. I'm not talking poly, I'm just talking multiple relationships. And those women are going to be able to have the same as someone who is, obviously who hasn't been married, because it's changing. It's changing. And it's starting to transform in front of your eyes. So it's very interesting to watch. But it's something to think about when you're out here in the dating world. Is the modern women of today, are they, the way they're moving and they're not really shifting? Um, does it look, because a lot of people are like, oh, the women aren't shifting on what they're standing on. So what's going to happen now is that no one's going to be together. Well, it looks like no. It looks like the men are just saying, hey, it is what it is. Now that's what it looks like, and that's just not on just this particular couple. It looks like that kind of all around. I mean, at this point, I'm just saying what it is, what I'm seeing. Hear people say, "Oh, there's no sexy red, no sexy red. We don't like her. We don't like her." But why she always have a man? And y'all say, "Oh, no, she got a man. They in the mouth, and no, that's a man. They out public. They're like, oh no, but but what I'm seeing is not the same as what you're saying. You're saying no. I listen. I had a grown man get me. I have to give this grown man a ride to live sometimes. And I'm telling you, he had my car. He was like, "Oh, I love that sexy red." I said, "Oh, wait a minute. This was not a young man." Okay, he sounded like he would be very happy, and they would say, "Oh no, he just want to hit." I, but the stuff y'all are saying disqualified. I don't know. It's just wow. It's just wow. I just want y'all to open up your eyes, just take some of that in. It's just very interesting to watch this process go. I wonder where it's going to go. In my opinion, I think people will start considering alternative relationships a lot more. And since marriage seems to be really, there's like a lot of stuff going on with marriage and people kind of fighting against particular laws when it comes to marriage, it really seems like legal marriage is no longer the thing. And so when you're going that route, what happens? There's a lot of people who are not getting married and having to follow the guidelines of being married. And who does marriage really benefit at this point in the modern society? And they'll say, some people say nobody. So then if we're not getting married, what was the purpose of having the marriage? Which is for security purposes. But if they're no longer doing that and they're securing their relationships in other ways, which is still getting insurance and all these things by just adding people as onto their policies, they're still able to do that. Then you're right. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? So we're just having a conversation, open up. Like I said, it's just to make you think about those things. Not necessarily something's right or wrong. It's just a conversation opener, right? Let's just look at some things here. Hey, Miss Queen, it's nice to see you. Okay, so this Miss Queen says, "Who are we talking about?" Tia. Oh, no, no, no. I'm so sorry. So we were talking about Meagan Good and Jonathan getting engaged. Yeah, thank you. Listen, and then see right here, she says, "So it's not because we are different; it's because we move away and we move with them. Men think they can do what they want and will stay the same." Okay, there you go. Okay, and then here we go. Oh, Lori Harvey thinks Lori Harvey is very interesting. I will say, in my opinion, the way she's moving, very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. Just observation, not judgment, any of those things. Observation is she is really taking it upon herself to hey Quentin, one second. She is really taking it upon herself to really see what kind of man she'd like to get with. Because I mean, at this point, I mean, I don't know because it the way it looks like she's dating a lot of very nice men. A lot of women are desiring these men, and I mean, it's not like she's leaving with like a whole bunch of cars and stuff. You know, she's like getting married and running off with gifts. Like I've seen some women do that. You know, for example, Ice Spice. I mean, at times she. I mean, men spending like 50K, 60K on first dates. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing that when it comes to her. I mean, yeah, they go on trips, but I mean, I don't see them like doing wild stuff. So like she's really just like, hey, let me see what's up. Was I her? I don't know. I just very interesting. And guys still date her. You know what I'm saying? Guys still date her. No shame. They just still they none. They don't got nothing. They, as soon as she's available, somebody trying to holler. Just saying. Okay, so okay, and Quentin, I'll let you up here. Hello, Quentin.
Good afternoon. How you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm tired, but I'm good. I got my boy with me right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, but
Yes.
I feel that because well, okay, I've been married for 17 years. I've actually learned a few things while being married. So I actually learned things about myself
Okay.
that I should have learned when I was younger. But I just feel that when people do get married, it shouldn't. They they should definitely like analyze themselves before they get married. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like and also too, if you don't have any major goals in life, at least have small ones, and then compare with it to each other. I'm just on the outside looking in, but as far as Jonathan Majors, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he was done dirty because he was in Hollywood as an African American man. I feel like he was, but I wholeheartedly like. I feel like he's a good dude. He was just the scapegoat of a dirty deal. But as far as Megan Good and Jonathan, I mean, I know, publicity limelight, but I feel some good energy between them two.
Okay.
And also too, I feel like Megan Good has a lot to offer for Jonathan as far as knowledge and how to navigate their careers and the situation. And I feel like vice versa because Jonathan he's well versed in linguistics, and I feel like they can complement each other.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Well, that's very fair to say. Like I said, I wonder, like, I know when you run in certain circles, you meet different people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And she has a different circle, and obviously from like the movies and things like that, it's like he took a real big hit. She stayed by his side, and even when all that was going down, so that was really interesting to watch. So yeah, it's just interesting. I think a lot of people were rooting for them to fail. So
I I feel like that's wrong for people to do that, and honestly too, you know who your true friends are, no matter what situation you're in,
that's very
and and I was actually rooting for them to stay together. I'm like I was because they look like a great, like I said, they look like a great couple. Nothing looks fake to me. You know how sometimes you can see on the paparazzi, oh, this is fake.
yeah.
Um, but I was actually hoping I was rooting for I'm rooting for them to stay together for as long as they possibly can. But I know, this is Hollywood and things get hectic. So I mean, I do pray that they work it out.
Okay. Well, I mean, it looks like it is going good. I mean, since they announced their engagement, I think that
Yep.
is a positive sign.
Yeah,
And hope
yeah.
for them because you never hope someone doesn't do well. If it can work out, hope it works out, and if it works for them, that's good. So I do appreciate the fact that they keep their stuff a little quiet. If you didn't notice too,
Uh
it's not
huh.
like when they do stuff. I think that's good too. It's not everything's so publicized with them, so
Yeah.
that's probably helpful. Yeah. So now we are going, but like I said, Quentin, we're just transitioning about different relationships, and we're moving on. Okay, because we're going to keep
All
it
right.
to. But our next topic, uh, another thing that happened in the news because I'm going to say news, but it's YouTube news, and we're going to just say it is what it is. I don't know if you know about the Cooley. Okay, so this gentleman, I don't know if you've heard of him before. Have you heard of him before?
Who?
Cooley.
No.
So, mm-mm. So there's a gentleman. He is a YouTuber. So he's a YouTuber, and he sits on like he has a really like good show. You know, it's usually him talking about women, um, and kind of correcting them a lot per se.
Oh
Um,
wow.
okay, don't make me laugh. Okay, I'm trying to be positive. Okay, so okay, we're not gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna no,
Yes,
no, we're not.
ma'am.
So okay, so what he does is he usually has conversations about like what women should should look like, not a parent, well, not parents wise, but basically he talks about the relationship and what that relationship should look like what's a high value man. He kind of goes down that red pill kind of road, and um it came out, hopefully, like I said, I wish I had my pictures on here, but it came out that he was well, it didn't come out. He was very open with it. I want to put that out there. He was very open with it. I actually had seen him on YouTube before, or TikTok or something. I remember his face. His face was very, very familiar. And when I saw him on YouTube, I was like, he looks very familiar, but I couldn't figure out
Mhm.
where. And so what ends up happening is it. I guess a lot of people didn't know after his subscribers got so big is that he's with a single mom. She is Caucasian. She had
Okay.
two children. She had two Caucasian children prior to with him, and then I think they had a baby, and then he had another daughter. So like they're just like a mixed family, right? And so if you know red pill people talk, to me, I since I didn't relatively remember after I saw some things, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember him, and I was like, okay, but he is taking a lot of heat on the internet. He is taking
Okay.
he is taking a lot of heat on the internet. Um,
Mhm.
because a lot of men who are red pill and things like that are saying like, or and women also who are like, oh, you were telling black women, we need to find a king and we need to act this way. We need to work on our weight. We need to work on how we talk and how we treat people. And you then jumped off. Oh, Foolie is what they call them. I'm sorry. And then you then jumped off and got with this woman, and I'm like, wait, pause, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is like she's a single mom, so like all the stuff you hear from red pill is no, no, don't do these things, don't do these things, all this push, push, push. And it felt like when you first saw it, it felt like he was going against all he was saying. Like you're
Contradicting himself.
right. Like you were talking about, black men, shouldn't date someone, this way, or the single moms and all this. And then look, what the hell is this? You didn't even marry this woman,
Right.
all this. And you're making children, making a whole family with someone, you're not even marrying them. And yeah, he had a live yesterday and he did go through, answering those questions, but
Right.
we all know is YouTube. And the masses are not going to
It's
accept.
crazy. Your master's gonna be crazy.
They're not
I'm
gonna.
playing this. So it's crazy. Me and my wife even had this conversation. We had a conversation about married, not married, and she kind of looked at me sideways. She was like, so we're talking about our son. I mean, no, he's still a baby, but um, we're saying like, how do we? How do? she's a traditional woman. Like, you have to, in order to have kids, in order to lay down with another woman, you have to be married. Which is me, on the other hand. I'm like, look, I'm not pushing nobody to get married. If you want to get married, if you want to be with this woman, that woman, hey, I, I'm at I'm like I tell you, be careful, be safe, make sure that the ground rules are planted. If you decide or she decide, hey, we don't want to get married, but we just want to be together. Hey, all I have to make sure is make sure there is no blurred lines. But I just, which is any relationship, whether if you're polyamorous, if you're whatever relationship you deem fit for you and and what have you. But yet, like, a lot of people are not getting married, are not getting married. They decide to have kids, but a lot of them I see are not having no ground rules in place. They don't have anything in place. Okay, this is a rule. This is a rule. Okay, we need to have this. Make sure but they find out later. Maybe we should get married. Why didn't you figure that out a long time ago? But yeah, I digress. But yeah, that's just how I feel.
Hey, hey, Chris. And then, okay, go ahead. Hey, M3, how's it going, dear?
Pretty good, Miss Polly. How you doing, Chris?
What
All
it
right, so look,
do?
what it do. All right, so look, I came up here, man, for the folio topic, right? Whatever his name
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
Um, so in reference, we did made a stream. It's funny because we made a stream about it, like yesterday evening, about this dude just breaking things down in fair perspectives, and there's no way how I can see anyone that could have the unmitigated balls to really defend this cat and to try to prove whatever narrative that's being put out on him as what he'll say, quote unquote, to be false. The guy blatantly is grifting, taking notes from the page of Fresh and Fit podcast. He's just like a mild version of Myron. And shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I know a lot of people has been trying to grill him for calling a dude out. But really the person who really called a dude out was like some guy with dreads like and glasses like I was on TikTok, and he was just pointing out the obvious. The thing is, I'm surprised that he hasn't been called out before a long time ago, because he blatantly has a TikTok channel with him, his white girlfriend, and a bunch of other kids playing the stepdaddy role. Now, what makes this guy seem so hypocritical and so down bad is that you're tearing down mothers with children, especially black women with children, kids, and you're encouraging men not to do these things. And you're calling them simps and all these like YouTube red pillar talking points. But then you're doing the exact same thing that you're telling other people not to do. So there's a huge contradictory into it. And to me, like, I mean, honestly, I really don't care. I could care less about what he does in his personal life. But since this is YouTube and, this is a subject to talk about, I mean, it is very hypocritical for somebody to create a platform when you yourself don't, like, teaching people how to live a certain life when you don't even live the life on your own. You know what I mean? And so, hey, I mean, he gets whatever fire that's coming at him because, I mean, you're giving people pretty much like, false advice that you're not even going to live by. And
And then
so
you
that's
giving
what
people
makes him look like a
ammunition.
fool. Hmm?
I said, and he's also giving people ammunition. You go like, oh, shots fired. I feel like he's from what you're saying. I don't know
Mhm.
I don't know the guy. Yeah.
But I want to say this, right?
Well, I
Do you
mean,
know how many dumb
go.
people that's on the internet? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Park.
Oh, no, I'll let you finish first.
Oh, I was like, man, do you know how many dumb people on the internet that actually follow this type of advice that
A
goes
lot.
through so many different trauma, right? Maybe off of one little bad experience, and then you see people like this on a consistent basis talking about a bunch of like foolish rhetoric, and then you have these people following them like a cult as to like this is like the way of the standard. So I don't know. Um,
Now we
I
have to
feel
put
like
this
people ain't
out
got nothing to
there.
do.
We got to put this out there, though. Okay.
Hmm.
I appreciate you saying. We're going to put this out there. Just we're throwing it out there. Could he be speaking from a place of I tried things this way, and so I am speaking as if I was giving advice to someone who is in a different situation, who hasn't decided to, you know, wife down, or not even wife down, or get with someone and they have children. Like, is my I'm just telling you what I think it should be, not what I'm doing. Is it
It,
him
it,
speaking about what he believes would be the right way to do it, even though he's done it wrong? Because there's lots of people online who say that. They say, I'm not speaking from like I got with the baby mom, but if I could go back, I may not have chosen that if I had the opportunity. So is he talking in that view, or is he just, what I'm saying? That's the part where you think
yeah.
that's wow.
Okay. Okay. Let me give an example, right? Um. Okay. So when I used to be married, right? Um. And I was giving people advice like, okay, before I give people advice, like, hey, like, if I were you, like, I wouldn't rush to get married. Or if I was to ever say don't get married, I'll make sure I put a disclaimer that look, I am married or whatever, or especially at the time when the relationship was good, I would say, look, in these times, you have to be careful who you're marrying, who you decide to get with, at least take certain precautions. You know what I mean? Or let's just say, like, if I was in his shoes, in his situation, where I'm dating a woman with kids. Now, I be it like the woman is a widow, so maybe it was something about her in particular that poses as someone who could be faithful and dedicated, as opposed to someone who just very loose, like just popping babies or whatever, and don't care. But the problem is, like with his message and delivery, he teaches people, you know, to avoid these type of women. And if you do make that approach, if you do get with these type of women, now you're this. Now you're fill in the blanks or whatever. You'll be labeled as a loser, a simp, or whatever, or lame. However, these people will call you. And then once the name calling starts to kind of arise because or you're getting shamed for doing something what they're doing behind closed doors or in another different platform, that is where like the fire begins and people start burning their torches towards them.
Okay. And like he said, like his TikTok, I think it is. I mean, it's still up with him and her. They have lots of followers from just that one. So, I could see if he deleted it or something. But it doesn't seem like. And we had a conversation yesterday, which I didn't get to see. It seemed like he did address those things. So at this point, it is up to YouTube to see and if it's something that they will accept or not. Like I said, these conversations we're just having, just kind of have some light conversation about different relationships today. But it ultimately, like you said, it's a relationship that he has with like you said, it's a his baby mama because they're not married and she's already had children. So like you said, it does appear as if he was, like you said, if he is in that situation, he also has to call himself that. But and I've never heard him say certain things. I don't watch the show that regularly to say if he's ever said that he's a great candidate or whatever. But if he's okay with labeling himself as those names, then I find that what he's saying it should be okay because that's his opinion about what people should do and we have freedom of speech. And if he feels
Mhm.
that way, then fine, have your conversation. But if he's labeling himself as what he's claiming, hey, men who do this, you are this. If he says, yeah, I'm that too, and I just don't want no one else to be like that, then hey, fair game. But I've never heard him say like I'm a simp or I'm a you know I'm a guy this blah blah blah. I've never heard him say that. But if he's able to, if someone was to ask him, well, you must be a simp or you must be that or whatever, if he's able to take that on and say, yes, I am one, and I'm telling you guys what I think you shouldn't do,
Hey,
I can
let me,
for it.
yeah, let me just kind of like sum up the whole the simp word because people use simp so loosely,
Yeah.
but they have their own like terminologies of it. I mean, here's the thing. Um, a lot of people will be ready to say like the guy's a simp, right?
Mhm.
Or lame. However, the simp
Right.
is just mostly just someone who just keeps trying to pursue this person
Hmm.
still trying to pursue. You're not even, well, I won't say pursue. You're chasing after this person in hopes that this person will one day like give in and get with you. Yeah, then you're just doing a little bit too extra or whatever. But in this case, right, he got the woman that he want. It's just that maybe the message was clear. Maybe he didn't put like a disclaimer. I don't know. On the flip side, people like to like look at clips at
Yeah.
certain things, but they don't like to watch like the whole like entity or whatever. So you never know on the flip side, and I'm not trying to defend him, but maybe he probably already said like, hey, like I am, in a relationship with such and such. But again, I don't even really watch this podcast. I didn't really hear about this dude until I think until like maybe it was the O.J. Du Jackson that brought up or something. I remember that sophisticated jerk sent me like the video or whatever, a little snippet of his podcast and how like this dude was going in on him. But other than that, um, I never even knew dude existed or ever watched his podcast until that recent event, and especially like when he was trying to address everything. And even still, I haven't watched the entire like live stream that he produced it. So that's
Yes.
another thing that us ourselves as mature critical thinkers, we also have to make sure that we don't also go over the top, labeling things as facts if we didn't really see or watch like like his entire like live streams and all.
Hmm.
So
Okay. 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 Well, I mean, that's fair to say. You have anything else to say, sir? Mr.
no,
Quentin,
no, that,
anything Mr. Work? Okay, we good.
No, no, I'm listening. I know nothing about this brother.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I do listen to sometimes. Like I said, I listen to both sides because when it comes to modern women and modern men who want to live traditionally, when they want to live traditionally, but they're not traditional anymore, right? It's very interesting to see that unfold. Those conversations they have between each other, just to watch that experience, interaction, and what men desire and women are saying they desire, and how men are staying more traditional and women are starting to transition. It's kind of interesting to watch that, like I said earlier. And it's very interesting. But I would say, because I'm bringing Mr. talk, because I said I'm not going to stay live very, very, very long, right? And I'm bring Mr. Best up here. Let him say what he like to say prior to moving forth. Okay. Hello, Mr. Best. Hello. Do you have
Hey,
to add
sister, what's
any of
going
that left
on?
story before we push forth?
What's going on, bro?
what up, Beth?
What's going on? All my people that been here, what's going on, yo? What's going on?
Hey,
That's good. Hey, Grizz, what's going on? And three, you already know. Miss Polly, what we talking about? Talk to me, girl. What we talking
Okay,
about? I'm here.
so we were talking about Fugazee. I say his name, so don't judge me. Don't
No, you
judge
good. You good. We know the Nebraska comes out sometimes. Go ahead.
My gosh, so rude. And you're just seeing, um, maybe your your opinion on it. I know some people saw. I think I don't know if Fatty got on there or something. I don't know, but the conversation that he had yesterday, he we did go live and he kind of spoke about why certain things looked a certain way, and he kind of just was explaining himself. Basically, he was explaining himself to his followers, and so a lot of people had their opinions about it. But I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to that. But if you don't want to, that's okay.
No, I mean, these internet people are internet people, man. So I don't. I mean, I just take them with a grain of salt. They're not really gonna do anything that's gonna make me say, oh my gosh, the town is burning down.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So
we
that
have
is
we
what.
have to
For
go do
real.
something and figure it out. Nah, man, like we got a lot of stuff, and I think you covered this on your other show, the show before that, when you was talking about like things politically and socially. Like
Yes,
we have bigger fish to fry, people. Like it's not a
absolutely.
game. Like you got to get focused, especially if you're a person of color. I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
just daydreaming or if you just don't think it's gonna be real, but it's about to get really real than it already is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just get ready. And then it don't really matter
Yes,
who got elected. I just want people to know that it's gonna get real regardless. So you could have voted for the chick or the homie with the red hat. It don't really matter. It was gonna be real regardless. So just be ready and just make sure
Buckle
that you
down.
yeah make
there
make
was
sure
going to
make
be
sure that
changes. Yeah.
inside and out that you're right. You know what I mean? And if you're not, you know what I'm saying, and you're not taking care of certain things and you're not keeping yourself healthy and you're not eating right or working out and doing certain things, then yeah, your life's gonna be hard, man. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
we got bigger things that we gotta figure out, man. And
Right.
on
For
top of
real.
that,
So
how can we
yes,
even care about anybody on social media when our kids are completely out of control?
Man,
Kids are out of
bruh.
control. Like we worried about this grown man who got kids and a woman. Like, why you worried about him for? He ain't gonna lie
but the
to you
distraction
every
is
day.
real. The distraction
Yeah,
is
he can
real.
lie to you
But
every
but
single day.
that is, and you know that. I mean, we all know that, right? I mean, the distraction is there for a purpose, and I will actually say, the distraction sometimes is needed, not for
Yeah.
just our own sanity, but yeah, some of us should really wake up and know it's there. Just because you just need a break from some of the real stuff doesn't mean you forget it. But
Yeah.
like you said, we also need to make sure that you're kind of balancing it. If there's a person coming up saying a whole bunch of wild stuff and no one's paying attention to them because it's just a person. Next thing you know, he's got all these followers, and now we got some problems. That could be a problem too. But you also want to make sure you're paying attention to your government and things like that, because that affects you every
Yeah.
day. So you got to balance. The balance is real. It is something that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't pay attention to. I do think it is needed for some. The masses are not okay with living in reality, and they do need something to distract them, or they will have chaos. I do believe that, actually. I do believe there will be chaos if I just it just is. It just is. There's some people who can't handle reality in general.
Nope.
They just can't. But I'm not saying you shouldn't try to understand. So you can live in your fantasy. That's fine. But know that reality is outside of that. That's what I think you should do. But
Facts.
that's just my opinion.
And for those people, just
But,
probably they gotta get a grip because if they don't get a grip, you know
yes.
what I mean,
Smack
it's
back
gonna
to
it's gonna get
reality.
bad. You know what I mean? It's gonna get bad. And I'm not even talking about money. It's not even a
No.
money thing. This is the warfare is mental and spiritual. You got
Yeah.
and if you're not guarding your mentality and your spirituality, you're gonna suffer. I'm just letting people know that you're going to
Mm,
suffer for real.
yes, yes. Now I'm gonna. You guys know I had to throw a poly story in there because we
Uh
have some
oh.
regular stories. So this one
Buckle
is one
down.
that, yeah, it's a one that's interesting to me because I saw it and I was like, oh wait, So there was a young lady who kind of, I don't know, she kind of went viral. She has two wives. They are studs, and she's very girly, and she has two studs, and they are her wives. They all live together, and now I know they have children, and I think the children are hers, but prior to all that. And so they were together for a while. And I don't know as long, but it is at least 8 years, at the very least. Probably more, but at least eight. And recently she went back public because she has a girlfriend now that she is trying to introduce as a possible third wife. And so on the poly side, hey Jen, on the poly side of things, that is very interesting. There's not a lot of times I see, just in general, I see tripods that are all women that stay together very long. They just don't. I don't know why. I don't see a lot of them. So it's interesting to see that, and I believe that the other women, they don't like interact with each other either. So they really, it's kind of like, oh man, it's like the women only talk to her, but they don't like talk to each other. You know what I'm trying to say? Like usually they'd be like, we're all together, but they're not. They're like they're together as like, oh, we're just together, but they're like, no, like I'm not like she's my sister wife, but like we're not like together. That what makes it different. So for all poly people out there that story is very interesting. You should look her up. She's very interesting. They live in a house. They obviously combine incomes, so they do live looks well off. It looks well off, and they are adding an addition. And so when those kind of relationships come up, that is interesting to see. Also in this atmosphere of modern women moving towards you. You've heard, what is it? The three B, 4B movement. And you hear a lot of women saying we're just going to stay with ourselves. So that looks exactly like that. Lord, that might be one of their spokespersons. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that. So if you guys are interested in her story, I'm sure you guys can find her, or at least on TikTok. I've seen her on Facebook a couple of times, and I'm sure if you put in tripod, and they're black. So it's very interesting to see that. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out. I might link it somewhere, but it's just very interesting to see that, and to see people who are in long relationships. It's like it's very interesting because most people think that poly relationships are going to be short, and so it's very interesting to see someone have longevity and move like that and move with family and children and things like that. So it's a little inspiring, but also interesting to see. Yeah.
But Miss Polly, a lot of times, what's not talked about is that the competitiveness
No, no,
between
no.
competitiveness between, you know, um, that women have for each other. That's not really talked about a lot. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that's a real thing. You know what I mean? Women are competitive with each other. You know what I'm saying? And that is something that happens. So whether it's monogamy or poly, yeah, they sometimes will get catty and it will get, a little crazy, especially if they find a man that they really believe is that guy. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
yeah, and if two of them latch onto him, it can get really ugly for real.
This it's a crazy world out there. So just seeing all these different kind of relationships are interesting. There's one other relationship that I have to check on that is poly, because I know like I say a lot of people come to my channel because they do hear my poly stuff. But there's another relationship which is a quad, and their way they do poly is that's too much for me. I'll be honest with you. They do a web poly, which is basically there's four of them. They're individually are married. They're one guy, one lady, and they're married, and they coupled together. The men are one man is a bisexual, the other one is not, and he does not mess with the other guy. But they live together. That's the last time I checked. They live together, and one of them has one son. The rest don't have. They don't have no children, and they actually have partners outside of themselves also, and they have like a bigger retreat they do once a year for like 2 weeks. They take all the couples, they all go out to this retreat, and they like just kind of be together for those 2 weeks. And but they're partners, and that like I said, that's a little too big for me. It's called web poly. It's like a web. That's too big for me per se. But I know it's interesting to watch them continue to be successful. And I last time I checked, they were still together. But that's an interesting one. And that actually, I think, if I for anybody, please do not investigate them if you're interested in poly. That should not be your first example. That one can be very overwhelming and stressful. And there's not a lot of people who are successful in those big webs. So I'm not saying don't ever do it, but like your entry should definitely not be that. Um, yeah, but it's interesting to see if they do work together. So I'll let you guys know that. So thank you for letting me share that with you guys. Uh,
No doubt, no doubt.
But
uh,
what
It's
about the people who really do want like a big family type of thing where they kind of want it where they are a part of a big community? How do they take the steps to even be a part of that? And should they take steps or should they just jump in it?
yeah, I think you should definitely take a step if you've been monogamous. There's just feelings you just don't shake off. I feel like I'm poly minded naturally. Like I don't like there's things that people would say to me, and there's other people who I've asked questions about who are poly. They're like, yeah, I never felt that way, but I was told I should feel that way. I should be like upset when my boyfriend talks to other people, not because I don't feel any way about it. Like I feel like we're together. I don't really have jealousy like that. Sometimes I feel a certain way, like if they're not giving me time or energy, and I feel like that lack is like it makes me feel some kind of way. But when it comes to like feeling automatically jealous something, I don't feel that. And so I think when I found other people who kind of talked about, yeah, I naturally was okay with talking to people. I'm naturally okay with like I feel like I could care about more than one person. I was always in that space. It was more interesting. So if people who want to have that large family, you could think about what it is. Are you married already? Do you want to have another wife? Like you have to figure out which one works for you, and that's why you kind of got to investigate kind of those things. Not because you want to be in knowledge of all poly ways, it's because you want to know what you're looking for. So when you go out to meet people, you can say, "Hey, I want to, I want two wives, three wives," or you know what, me and my husband, we want to date a whole couple. So then that us four will be a quad, and that's it. And it's just us, and we only mess with each other, and we just build with us. We have two families, and that's it. And some people move like that. So if you want a big
that's
family,
interesting.
yeah, the quads. I mean, I was pushing for a quad. It's to be two women, two men. It doesn't have to be that way, but you know, that is something that you can do. Um,
Don't give
people find,
up. Don't give up.
yeah, I'm not necessarily giving up. I will say that it has to be like if I have a lady here, it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. I have no problem with it. And he's like, but you have remember what I just said. It has to be someone who also like two of your partners, three of your partners. They have to like them and enjoy them enough to be with them in a situation where, like, if I wasn't here, could you still be
Can
in
y'all
the
be coexist?
yeah. I'm not saying you have to be sexual with them all the time, but like, are you going to take care of them? Or are you going to be there for them? Because that's part of this being together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's been times where, I've talked to someone and, they had someone else they were dealing with. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, I'm going to treat that person like they were my partner. So, like, I would go out my way to make sure they got to work. I would do those things because I make sure you're good because my partner cares about you. And that's a different level I thought people don't have. I don't really have to think about it. I know that would maybe make them worry that you're okay. I want to know that I'll be there for them too. And so when you think like that, then that's like a different mindset. It's kind of a village mindset. Make sure everyone's good and everyone's covered regardless. I didn't necessarily even like her. Didn't really like anything about her, but it didn't matter. If she needed a ride to work, I'd help her. It didn't matter. So it's like that's a different level a lot of people are on. There's a lot of poly people who are like that, and some are like, well, that's your partner, and that's not mine. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. For the
That's
most,
interesting. It's a whole new. I'm. I'm as like as I got older, I'm like, there's literally different type of worlds that people will build for themselves, or a whether it's a community or it's different level. It just it's, I'm just amazed at how many different levels there are within this world. If that makes sense.
yes,
And the worlds that people will build for themselves in the communities and the type of structure they'll build. I find it fascinating. I literally honestly find that fascinating and interesting. Like just between the poly world, the bisexual world, or just every type of level of human. I don't know. I'm fascinated with what human beings can do. Sorry,
Mhm.
I'm kind of on like a scientific mindset right now. My bad. It's just
That's good.
what human beings have done throughout the ages, if that makes sense. Yeah, what we've done throughout the ages, like we've built something from nothing. We built a certain structure, and we bring people into this, and I'm just like, oh, I find I'm just fascinated with it.
Yes. And I will say this. I think the one thing that modern people have not noticed or not paid attention to is that as society evolves, where we're not in survivor mode, the well, we used to need to hunt, get berries, all that. So the
Yeah,
priorities in the mind are different, right? Because when you have to just go out here and forage and all that, your mindset is who cares if you're happy? We're just going to partner up because we got to make sure we have dinner because we got to survive. It's survivor mode. But as we grow as a society, as we grow, and the person at the bottom of the toll, at the bottom, that survivor mode, once that gets to a place where it's like quote unquote survivor mode, but it's not like we're like Americans, we kind of cry about things that most people don't really, they're like, shoot, I don't have
yeah,
we walk every day, there's no real roads. Like, if you think about it, our low is not low compared to anywhere else. So
man, girl, right,
our
right,
in the mindset of that, yeah, in the mindset of that, are when you have less to focus on for survival, then your emotions become the priority. And
yeah.
we
I,
don't
I,
function in our emotion because we never had to worry because our emotions are always have been second to the
yeah,
survival physically. Your physical survival is more important. And as we progress past that, the more money we make, the more you will see more issues with relationships and things like that.
more money, more problems.
Yeah, and you can people who have money listen to what their problems are. They're always emotional problems. I have high anxiety.
Yeah, it is
I have high
because
anxiety. I can't function with my mom. You never hear them say, "Oh, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna feed my kids tomorrow."
right
Those
that part.
the survivor in them is no longer there, so the need is not needed. So now their problems
Polly's no
are.
longer Miss Polly. She's Miss Revolutionary now.
I'm just, I'm being honest. As we evolve,
Yeah, and that's real because
Mhm.
honestly, I feel like because like I be listening to them problems. I'm like, oh, I don't know what kind of car I'm gonna drive today. Oh, I'm
people don't
going
want
to
to
this
know.
business meeting. I don't know, certain people are there. I'm gonna make them happy. I'm like, really, seriously? And
Yeah,
it's like I
mm-mm.
know because I know what's me. I am like my mindset right now is make sure my son is good, but as far as career wise, I wholeheartedly is working on. I'm working on getting into the film industry, and I would definitely love to have a certain status of money, so that I can like for me the money part is more of I can buy my cameras, I can buy all my equipment to establish my production company. But at the same time, too, my one of my biggest goals of all time is establish my company to where I can help to and I can help to hire other actors and writers. I can hire people and give people jobs. But
Yeah,
I don't want to. I'm like, if I do become a millionaire or a billionaire, I don't want to be like, oh, but I mean, I know where the emotions problems is because people are always around you if you have money. The more money you have, that's like, oh, hey, how you doing? What's going on with you? Nah, bye. Or you just have certain status like Kanye West when he was a billionaire, when he was like a millionaire, billionaire, and all of a sudden all his money is gone. Like he said, he's happiest when his money was gone. And
yeah. It's emotional though. That's the thing. He's
yeah,
emotionally not happy, but everything else is fine.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's just crazy. Like, but yeah, I just, I just want to make because like money is emotional. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, money is emotional, especially if you have the maintaining your money, your status and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. I think that's what it's just different. They're different problems. So when people think, "Oh, I have
Yeah,
money, I'm gonna have no problems," it's like, no, your problems will be different. Then
pretty
you have to
much.
figure out what happens when you have kids who don't know that limits. Your
Yeah,
parenting will be different because your kids don't have to live without anything. Whatever they ask for, you could give it to them. That's why there's a lot of people who have money who don't do that because they know there's different kinds of problems. But if they had this, maybe they'd be a little different. And so that's why you shouldn't be comparing yourself to some of these people who do have money and how they move because their problems are not your problems.
Facts.
You can't you don't know what it's like to be a parent where you can give their child everything they want and they're still unhappy. You don't know what that feels like because you think at Christmas if you don't get all these presents they're so excited and happy, but if you can't get to them, that's your worry. They don't have that problem, and when they get their kids all
Pretty
the presents,
much.
kids aren't happy. So there's things that you will not experience in a certain bracket. We'll say salary
Yeah.
bracket is a, and we just have to recognize that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because I know me and my wife were talking about when Safarian reaches a certain age when he's old enough to have an allowance or old enough to work, we're gonna start making him pay rent. We're gonna help him to like basically like get him acclimated to the real world, so that when he leaves the house, he knows how to go about delegating his own life.
Hmm. Yeah, you got to set up plans for these people. You do. You have to set up plans.
Pretty much.
Teach your children financial literacy. Even if you don't know it, you learn it, and then you teach them as you go. You learn some and teach them.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
you don't
Oh
know it. That's
yeah.
know it. We're not good at it, and we just need help learning about different things and showing them what we learn. So don't be scared to do that. And
I'm
so
still
yeah,
learning financial literacy. Oh yeah, I'm playing this. I'm still learning financial literacy. It's one thing to learn it, but another thing to implement what you learned.
apps.
That's
Oh
that's the hardest part.
yes. Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. Like I said, I refuse. We're going to call it an hour of piling. No, for we went over some relationships. Okay, I think we did great. We even went. We didn't go political all the way because I was going. Like I said, the whole part political I didn't want to bring up. Maybe we got a couple minutes. We have 3 minutes. I will just bring this up. I told you guys I'm gonna give you some information every time, at least a little bit more. The one thing I would worry about in my mind is, as you guys know, there is a war still going on. If some of you have forgotten because we don't talk about it because it quote unquote somewhat doesn't affect us on a daily basis.
Because we don't talk about it a lot.
But as presidential things have changed, that may change. There's already some talk about, well, Biden's already kind of allowing some things before he gets out of office. What will those things be? Will that trigger issues with us interacting with these other places? And will that even trigger a response from everyone? How will that look out there? So we gotta, if you don't know, obviously United Nations and things like that, you have to know that United Nations, obviously, when we talk about the world and having war, because we're all connected and friends to somebody, and we have
Yeah.
alliances, and our alliances are very tight. And if one person messes with one person, it's like it could be a chain reaction, and
Yeah.
that's what is the world of war. So you got to know what's going on because sometimes one bad move can be a issue for everyone. That's why we have the United Nations, so that when these things come up, that we can all figure out a way to come together and agree upon something, so that it doesn't get out of hand and end up in world war. So that is one thing I do worry about, is because that is something that is playing out. What will happen with this new change, or will Trump just really keep it focused on America, which will help because then we would not be part of that, at least for a while. And so, as Biden's leaving, though, he is making some decisions about how we help or allow things to go on. And so you might want to pay attention to that. If you
Yeah.
got it,
Wholeheartedly.
look it up, look up some things that Biden is changing
I've
around.
actually found out. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're fine. We're good. That's it.
I found out that through the news and other people that ever since Trump got in the office, a lot of countries and nations has backed off. Like they're not really writing our coattails like when Biden was in office. like the wars that were like we were about to go to war with somebody, and it's like, you know what, we're good, we're good, we're good. And then China, it's like China, between China bowing down and some other countries are bowing down there, and it's like this is kind of strange. And but it's like I'm like at the same time, I know we all know that what the heck is his name? The Donald Trump is a businessman. I know we've been dealing. Donald Trump's been dealing with people throughout the country, even when he was president first time, and when he was not president, he's been dealing with stuff, and he's been actually making under table deals with people. So that's why I feel like things are about to be weird right now.
It could be. Yes, we don't know. And so it's just interesting to watch and be aware and be um, in the know. And you don't have,
Yeah,
like I said, if you guys get overwhelmed by listening to politics, a lot of people had a lot of anxiety over everything. At least you need to still have some remnants. Every once a week, look at what's going on. You guys have YouTube where there's YouTube news. Just check, look at some things, just pop in and pop out if it's too much, so that you can at least be aware of what's happening worldwide
right.
and look. But you need to know that stuff. So okay,
There's some
I'm going
people
to wrap.
in all. Okay, I'll see you later.
No, last words. You go ahead. Last words before we go. We're gonna wrap
So
it up.
so sorry.
Word.
I
Go ahead,
saw
Rich.
on Instagram these Caucasian people were dressed in all black with mask on or red mask on, and they had a swastika symbol. I just laughed because you're waving this symbol in the 21st century, knowing that people are woke to it now. That's just one of my. That's just like we're waving this fake Nazi flag around, and I'm just like, we all know what that really means, though. But
Mm,
yeah,
I have to investigate.
I will say from your political concern, I will say this. I think that politically and socially, like I always say, for our people, we just have to be liberated, and we have to completely find ways to change the system and not just keep taking the scraps that are just given to us from the table. You know what I mean? Because it's just not
Mm,
enough, and we see that within the inner cities and within our educational system, from our kids even towards our elders, we just lack education and resources on a major level. You know what I'm saying? Now there are some of us who are living high on the hog, right? But that's a very small percentage. It ain't a big amount of us. You know what I mean? So we just got to be aware of that, and we also got to do the things that we can to make sure that we're being proactive. You know what I'm saying? And that we're
mm,
being healthy and that we're doing the healthiest things. Because whether they decide to be buddy buddy with Russia, China, North Korea, whoever else, or they decide to kind of go left, you know what I mean? Our communities a lot of times are already left anyway. You know what I mean? So we our focus is we can't even think about anything else because we, like you said, we're just trying to feed ourselves a lot of times, right? A lot of people just trying to
mm-hmm.
do the bare necessities. So when it comes down to anything else, they're not able to focus on anything else because they haven't ate all day. You know what I mean? Or their child hasn't ate all day. So now, especially with our people, I can't speak for any other culture, but with our people, how do we make sure that we are getting the bare necessities in life on a regular basis? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Yes.
should be a goal for us. Can we just get the bare necessities? Can we get
Yeah, absolutely.
education, food, resources, and income?
Mhm.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Can we get that? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
then we can start focusing on, you know, our relationships, and our relationships can be a lot better. You know what I mean? But if I can't feed myself, then yeah, I'm not. I don't want to hang out with Miss Polly today. All right, I'm mad. I ain't eat.
Well, yeah,
I
you ain't got nothing to say.
don't
Ain't
want to spend
nothing
no
good
time
out your
with
mouth.
you. I haven't eaten all day. I'm hungry,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know when my
Mm-hmm.
next meal coming. I got $20 at the end of the week. Then that's when I get paid. You know what I mean? And I got my bus
Crazy.
pass. So Miss
Crazy.
Polly, yeah, you want to kick it, and yeah, we have fun, but yo, that $20 got to stretch. So I got to figure this out. You know what I mean? Now if you plan to
Oh,
cook something and we kick in and watch a movie and have some good conversation, and I go home afterwards, that's cool because I gotta be up for work in the morning. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
not just a plight for men, but that's a plight for women too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people who just
Absolutely.
they're living from one aspect to another. And then another thing too is even when you are living well and you're making a certain amount of money, the money goes out so fast because now you got to keep up your life. You know what I mean? To keep up your life, to keep up that car, or to keep up this, or to keep
Mhm.
up that. You know what I mean? It's not like you just get these things and they just don't. They just work automatically and everything work out. No, I have to upkeep things now. So there's a lot of pressure for those who are living well because now they have to upkeep what they're living well with. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that's they don't. They may not have the stresses of somebody who has nothing, but now they have a different amount of stress. You know what I'm saying? While trying to help those who are not doing well, are trying to help those who are not doing well. So it's a whole dichotomy of what we're dealing with. Then you have those who are in the middle of the road. They ain't got that much. They ain't got that little. They got just enough. They got just enough. You know what I mean? And yeah, they may have a little more sometimes, and sometimes they may just have just enough. You know what I mean? But they're not completely without. So, but we just have to have those little things so that we can focus on relationships. We can focus on monogamy and poly and all that stuff. But Miss Polly, I hit you on the back end. I'll probably give you a
I
call later.
I
If
appreciate it.
anything, everybody please like and subscribe. If you're watching this on
Yes.
replay, if you're watching now, please like and subscribe. And definitely show Miss Polly some love. All right, later, family. Much love.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So I will say this. If you don't know, because I obviously I majored in East Asian culture, so I will say this. So that's swastika, right? Everybody, talk about that, but that is actually one of the symbols of Buddhism. So if you see it in Asian culture, and I know that Japan was, uh, but it's in other places too. But it's Buddhism and Hinduism. They do use that sign. It doesn't look exactly the same, but it's extremely. It's like basically the same. So I just wanted y'all to know that. So because I just thought I was like in East, I was like, what are they doing? But it was a symbol for that, and in parts of Christianity also had to use it, or they did use it, and then it turned into something else. But the whole point is that is there. So if you do guys see something and you see Asian people with that, um, know that it could be something else. I just want people to inform that because I know a lot of different cultures are around, and just gonna be aware that they have symbols that look like something that may make you feel some kind of way, but sometimes it's something else. But long and short of it, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate the support. And like always, we always talk about relationships with different things. I would love to talk about, like Mr. Best said, kind of um, one or two of the ways we can as people progress in a positive way. And I think a lot of people, and there's a lot of celebrities are doing this too, but there's a lot of things is progression in agriculture. And as you can see, a lot of celebrities, not even celebrities, millionaires and billionaires are investing in agriculture because food will be a issue. Food is an issue and food will be an issue. And organic food will be a definite issue. So we want to talk about people learning more about agriculture, learning how to grow their own foods and vegetables. And there's a lot of policies about that. You can't just I don't know if you guys know that you can't just take a piece of land and start growing food on it. That's a violation. You actually have to have permits and things like that. You can't just do it. It's not because there's stuff underneath the ground that you're digging under. It's not because of that. It's because they are controlling who makes what food and the seeds and all that. So this is not something um, that you can just do. You do have to get some knowledge about it. But people are moving towards a way of buying farms, which those places are already allocated for that. So if you guys were interested in buying land, farms, things like that are really the way to go, because then you can secure, at least to some degree, a source of food that you make and be able to forage. So I think that would be something that could help progress a lot of people. Just learning how to just grow food in general and use those natural remedies, and which one of the things that Trump was saying was getting rid of a lot of false food. Just beyond all that, that's banning lots of things in food that shouldn't be, and that probably will help a lot of people, and they don't really think about it. So learning those things, learn how to get natural things and using ingredients, very helpful. So I would like to try to do a conversation about that and relationships about different things. But for now, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for tuning in. And this is a very, very wonderful day for me. I'm feeling very positive. So guys, please remember to comment also. That's very helpful. But I will see you guys another time. I appreciate your time. Bye.